So welcome back to the Aviva Stadium. I'm joined here by Aidan Fitzmaurice, and it was a memorable day for Shamrock Rovers. Stephen Bradley's men securing a first League and Cup double for the club in 38 years. That long wait since 1987 is over for the Hoops. Beating Cork City 2-0 in the 2025 FAI Cup final. It was a game turned on its head by Harry Nevin's straight red card just before the break, before Rory Gaffney. Two quick-fire goals from the Galway man really sealed this cup final for Shamrock Rovers. It was utter heartbreak for Cork City, but a day to remember for Shamrock Rovers. Aidan, this class of 2025, this Shamrock Rovers team have written their names into the history books.
Yeah, they've spoken a lot about it. Rovers are very big into the history, all-time winners of the FAI Cup. Bradley has referenced numerous times the fact that as good as this crop are, and they've made more inroads in Europe than the great Rovers team of the 80s had done, they hadn't won a double. So I think that was something that Bradley was a personal target for him, a personal target for the players and for the club, that they can now meet those lads, and John Cody and Pat Byrne and Mick Byrne and all these people, they're regular at games, and they can meet those going now, well, we've done two, we've won a double. So I think it was historic in a very basic sense in winning the double, but to do that for the first time in nearly 40 years is huge for the club, and as well in a season where they're in the group stages of European competition with the hope of getting out.
And obviously all the reaction, most of the focus is on the remarkable achievement by the Shamrock Rovers team, but they didn't really have it all their own way in the first half an hour, and it was Cork City who twice went close to getting the opener.
I think if you're Cork City going home, and over the next couple of days as you look into the fact that there's first division football next year, would it have changed if Harry Nevin hadn't been sent off? And there can be no dispute, it was a straight red card. I don't think anybody can doubt that. I think Cork had the better chances. Shamrock Rovers, I think, really lack of tempo about them in the first half an hour, 40 minutes. Cork had the better chances. You know, Ed McKinty was far busier. Conor Brown was very quiet. So those little people often say, though, that going into a cup final, it hinges on a moment. Sean Maguire spoke in the lead up to this game that the 2016 final, he had a terrible game, the worst game of his career, but he scored the winner in injury time. It's those moments. That's what's on the record. The fact that he scored the winner, Cork won. The records won't show that Cork had a really good first half and had those chances. They had the red card and then it changed. I still think Shamrock Rovers would have won. I think the bench would have won it for them. You look who they're bringing on. They're bringing on John McGovern. They're bringing on Danny Mandrew. They have the ability to bring on those players. Cork didn't have that strength of depth. So I think if it had gone to either 10, 15 minutes left with the game still up for grabs or into extra time, Shamrock Rovers could have won it. But Cork City really will rue the fact that the red card, and even the defending for the first goal, Freddie Anderson, he's such a great player for for Cork City this year, just losing the ball to Dylan Watts in the box like that, that's criminal. You don't do that in a league game, in the fourth game of the season. You certainly don't do it in a cup final.
You mentioned Freddie Anderson there, went so close to putting Cork City 1-0 up just after half time, and absolutely incredible save by Ed McGinty to keep his goal intact. And then it was 2 goals in 6 minutes from Rory Gaffney.
Yeah, and that's the moment. And again, they look at that, even the mix-up for that first goal that came from slack possession from Cork City. Even the second one, Matt Murray was only just on. He played the ball back to Rory Feely, who again kind of got caught by it. So mix-up between them. And again, player like Rory Gaffney, he's one of the top scorers in the league. You can't give him opportunities like that. That for me will be the regret for Cork City, that they just made it far too easy for Shamrock Rovers. And for Rory Gaffney, it's a brilliant story, a redemption. He missed himself. He was nearly finished. He had no contract. He didn't know where he was going. He missed most of last season with injury. He was 35 at the start of the season, where he was 35 without a club, carrying a lot of injuries. Was his time up? Was he going to go back to go back to Galway, play locally in Galway, play GA? What would he do? He's turned around. It may be his last game for Shamrock Rovers. He'll have to decide that. He spoke after the game and said he isn't the mind. He doesn't want to give up, but he also doesn't want to be a passenger. He will make that. But if that turns out to be his last game in domestic football as a Shamrock Rovers player, or his last game in League of Ireland football, what a way to go out. 2 goals and a brilliant servant to the league. And it just proves as well, young players all over the country. A year ago, Rory Gaffney was washed up. Look at him now, 2-goal hero.
And just briefly on Cork City, a season to forget, really. They were hoping the FAI Cup would be a silver lining. Just 4 league wins this year, and their relegation was confirmed last month. Really impressive semi-final win over St. Pat's. They were really hoping to finish on a high this year. Of course, the carrot of a Europa League spot and €700,000 in prize money on offer as well. And it's going to be a long winter on Lee's side.
A long winter, and it's game changing in a bigger sense, that I think with that cushion of European football and extra money. I mean, we know the last couple of years how important Europe is. the ticket to the Europa League is massive, with the chance then to also play in the conference. That would have given Cork, I think, a chance. They will lose players. A lot of players were on loan. Some of them are signed up. I think it's going to be very hard to keep Sean Maguire. I think Sean Maguire playing in the first division next year would be no good to anybody. It's no good to Sean Maguire. It's no good to Irish football. Sean Maguire could score 35, 40 goals in the first division next year. He's under contract, so somebody who wants him will have to buy him. But I think it is a pity for Cork City. It is a breakup of that team because some will leave. Evan McLaughlin will leave. Some of them are going back to their parent clubs. And it is just a slog. And instead of being in Europe, it's going to Bray, it's going to Cove, it's going to Treaty, it's going to Wexford next year. It's a pretty grim outlook for Cork City.
I should say, of course, that Europa League qualifying spot now passes down to Derry City and Bohemians, of course, fourth-place Bohemians. The celebrations weren't only Shamrock Rovers based. There were celebrations at Dalymount, and among the Bows players and supporters, they have Commons League football. First time in a couple of years now, they're back in Europe. But just, Aidan, finally, on Shamrock Rovers, 5 titles in 6 seasons, 3 European group stages now in the last couple of seasons, and now first FAI Cup in 6 years for the club. There's really not a whole lot else for Stephen Bradley and this team to achieve. They've done it all, and it's going to be fascinating to see where they go next. And of course, they have 3 league phase games to come to.
There will be personal targets for the club. Club are very well run. You look how even the operations last week, they brought 600 fans to Athens for the conference game. They're on a sound footing. They're not under that mad finance. They've already made money. It's not like 20 years ago when clubs needed the European money and gate money and stuff like that to simply survive. They are on a sounder footing. There will be personal challenges. Players will leave. Josh Onan is almost certainly gone to the UK. Stephen Bradley will have offers, and this come up when Selly were here, and the Selly manager had a pop at him for, you can't be very good if you haven't had offers. There's reasons why Stephen Bradley didn't leave. He had a family crisis that would have tested anybody.
But not do his homework.
No, it didn't. So now Stephen Bradley will be in demand. And in terms of Ireland, that may be that's not the conversation for now, but there will be clubs in England or in Europe who'll be looking at Stephen Bradley and going, what he's done. He is ambitious. His family situation now, he's thankfully, because his son Josh has won his health battle. So that will be pivotal for Shamrock Rovers as a club. Where they go now? But at the moment, they've won the double. They're in Europe. You could not be happier than as I said. The difference is that Rovers team of the 80s, they were brilliant domestically, probably the best club side we've ever seen in Ireland. Couldn't do it in Europe. Shamrock Rovers have done it a couple of years in a row. So if you're Shamrock Rovers, you can enjoy. You have 3 more games in Europe to come, then Christmas to come. Worry about the other stuff later on. You can enjoy it at the moment.
Well, the 2025 FAI Cup final ended in heartbreak for Cork City, and Shamrock Rovers were left celebrating the first double for the Hoops in 38 years. And there's a lot more European action to come over the next couple of weeks. Aidan, thanks. You can follow all the latest reaction and analysis to today's FAI Cup final with the Irish Independent.